If it is Monday night, it is the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. It is Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio. Sitting in tonight for the Hardcore Pipe, I'm Derek Ferreira. This has been a very disastrous night, to say the very least. So many glitches and difficulties on our end here tonight, but finally, everything is as it should be, straight up under control. So, I don't believe Michael Fletcher is going to be joining us for this edition of the Wrestling Forum. He has work commitments. What else is new? And tried to do the Bulls corner, but that ended up being a bit of a hot mess, if you will. That's courtesy of our Uvu. Um, Maybe we'll have. I'm sure I'll have that up later tonight sometime. So with that, and of course Michael Bullock had a late night on his own. So well, with that said, yes, Movement runs the show once again here tonight. So definitely good news there. So but before we get into the Wrestling Forum, um, we do have some very sad news that we need to pass along. Um, we're going to be doing this show with heavy hearts tonight because Derek Ferreira let us know on his Facebook page a little bit ago that the founding father of the American Wrestling Association or the American Wrestling Alliance, whatever it was called, the AWA, Verne Gagne, has passed away tonight at the age of 89. Cause of death obviously not known, but on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum, we would like to send our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Verne Gagne, one of the greatest pioneers in the history of professional wrestling, and he's going to be surely missed. It was not only did Derek post it, but it was initially posted on Twitter by the one and only Mean Gene Okerlund, who, as you know, Mean Gene Okerlund was a mainstay in the AWA. That's where he got his start before, of course, he went to the WWE where he became a household name, and then obviously went to WCW and then back to the WWE once the WCW thing ended. So, but nonetheless, one of the greatest champions of all time. Um, a career that spans 32 years. He started in 1949 and retired in 1981. So a 32-year career for the great Verne Gagne. And then he became a promoter and went into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006, inducted by his son Greg as part of WrestleMania 22 in Chicago. So tonight, here on the Wrestling Forum, we are going to dedicate this edition of the Wrestling Forum in honor of the memory of Verne Gagne. I think that's only fitting that we do that here tonight. So, rest in peace, Verne Gagne. He'll be surely missed. And on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum, our thoughts and prayers and deepest condolences, indeed, to the family, friends, and colleagues and anybody who was closely associated with the great Verne Gagne, passing away tonight at the age of 89. So with that said, we're going to dive right into this dedicated to Verne Gagne edition of the Wrestling Forum, and I'm sure he would have been proud because tonight marked the return of the King of the Ring tournament. King of the Ring tournament returned tonight, and of course this Monday Night Raw was live tonight from the Resch Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we're going to start it off pretty much like we always do, in-ring segment with WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, along with J&J Security and Corporate Kane, interrupted by Randy Orton and then Roman Reigns. And say it like this, solid opening segment here. Rollins and Kane are at odds. Rollins and Reigns both have realistic claims. Well, Orton and Reigns, I should say, both have realistic claims to deserving the next title shot. I kind of wish they would let Roman Reigns build a little more momentum before they put him back in the title picture. I mean, I thought his mic work was great in this exchange. And, of course, it led to Corporate Kane making a ruling saying that I'm not going to decide who's going to face Rollins for the title at Payback. No. It's going to be up to the WWE Universe using the infamous WWE app. And the options would be Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins defending against just Roman Reigns, or a triple threat match with Reigns, Orton, and Rollins going at it in a triple threat for the titles. So I thought the exchange was very good. Um, I would probably say second best segment of the night. I thought there was one segment I thought was better, to be honest with you. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say on that. So Rollins continues to be that smarky, no good chicken bleep heel. You gotta love that, and definitely like that little implosion, if you will, within the Authority. And oh boy, did we see something? Did we see a sight for sore eyes at the very end of the show tonight, if you know what I mean? So I know the Yes Movement's gonna love what we saw at the end, but nonetheless, second best segment of the night. Very good, solid segment there, and everybody came off looking really good here, if I'm being honest with you. So with that said, I'm going to throw it up now to my partner in crime in the Yes Movement and our resident phenom, Michael Bullock. Your thoughts on this opening segment?
All right, thank you very much, ridiculously over Anthony Florio and the president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement. Yes, this is the phenom Mike Bullock here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always, even though it is a somber edition with the passing of Verne Gagne. And I too want to send my thoughts and prayers to the friends and family and close friends of Verne Gagne. So yeah, I did see his Hall of Fame induction ceremony back in 2006, and he certainly was the pioneer of the AWA and those that were in there. And if you haven't seen that AWA DVD that they have, or if you can watch it on the WWE Network as part of that Beyond the Ring series, trust me, you want to check it out. It's definitely worth it. And you'll learn about the AWA and how Verne Gagne got that company going. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. Rest in peace, Verne Gagne. You will be missed. So yes, as far as this segment goes, I do agree. This was a solid opening segment to start off Monday Night Raw. I mean, everybody played their parts well. Yeah, basically, Kane and Seth Rollins continue to implode. Randy Orton comes out and it basically says that saying, you know what, I'm not the kind of man that likes to complain about cheating to win, but when a man with his own administration goes on the record to say that Seth cheated to win, you know what, that sets up a rematch. And then Seth, being that smarky chicken bleep heel, says, you had one chance and that was the last night. And then Roman Reigns come out, and Reigns says, hey, I beat the Big Show, and therefore I deserve a shot at the title. And then Seth says, you know what, you had your one chance, and what happened? You choked. So, well, guess what? Kane decided that, you know what, we're going to have a tag team match later on in the night with me and Rollins going up against Orton and Reigns, and then by the end of the night, I'm going to let the WWE Universe decide, courtesy of the WWE app. Is it going to be Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton? Or is it going to be Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns? Or is it going to be Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns in a triple threat match? So we'll have to wait and find out at the end of the night. So second best segment of the night. So with that being said, Florio, let's get on to the first match of the night, which I will talk about, which is a King of the Ring quarterfinal match.
King of the Ring qualifying quarterfinal match. I mean, I've always been used to them having qualifying matches for the King of the Ring tournament, but no, they just randomly threw this thing together. And hey, I mean, you couldn't have started it off any better. I mean, it was Dolph Ziggler, the show off, versus Bad News Barrett. Winner of the match in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. It was Bad News Barrett. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this this opening match of the King of the Ring tournament?
All right, I thought this was a good match for what it was. even though it was a little too short for my liking. But the thing is, these are King of the Ring quarterfinal matches, and some of these can't go very long. But I thought in the time, I thought it was a pretty good match here. So, but unfortunately, we had ourselves. I mean, we had some good back and forth action here, and unfortunately at the end, I mean, we had a little interruption by Sheamus, and it was enough to distract Dolph Ziggler, and then he gets hit with the bullhammer by Bad News Barrett. 1, 2, 3, he gets the win. So I'm gonna say maybe 2 to maybe 2.25 stars for the effort. I mean, it was a good match, but it was a little bit of a clunky finish with the distraction by Sheamus. But either way, I mean, it was a good match for what it was. So Bad News Barrett moves on to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. So 2 to 2.25 stars is my rating. So Florio, it's yours.
I'm gonna go slightly higher here. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars for this effort. I mean, there were some good near falls and some good action here. I do agree it was a tad on the short side. I mean, only 8 minutes and 20 seconds. It was not quite the hot start that I was expecting from, the return of the King of the Ring tournament. We haven't had this in 5 years, not since late 2010 when Sheamus, went on to win it by beating John Morrison in the final. Um, but nonetheless, this was a solid matchup here. I mean, these two do work well together. I was kind of expecting Ziggler to go over, but you knew once Sheamus showed up, you knew that was going to be the end result. And yeah, Sheamus, getting the payback there because Ziggler beat him in that ridiculous match last night, which we're not going to get into any more of that because you know how he felt about it. So yeah, the 2.5 star match could have been better, but it was fine for what it was. I mean, I thought it was still a very good match to say the very least. So yeah, that's that. So now we move on to our next matchup. It was one half, or let me rephrase that, 1/3, if you will, of the new WWE Tag Team Champions, Big E Langston, accompanied by Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, going one-on-one with Tyson Kidd, of course, accompanied by wife Natalya and partner Cesaro. Winner of the match in 1 minute and 25 seconds, it was Big E Langston. You can make an argument that this was the worst fight of the night. Um, well, this is where the hard times start right here, folks. And you know how we are about hard times. A major no, no, no sprint on that um, on behalf of the Yes Movement. So, yeah. Um, there was a little bit of some all right action in this. That's why I'm going to rate it between half to 1 star. I know I'm being generous on this, but I know the correct rating probably is a dud, and rightly so. But it really wasn't all that bad. But yeah, I thought the match was longer than that, to be honest with you. But it didn't feel like a minute and a half. But I thought it was more like 3 to 4. But no, listed as a minute and 25. So yeah. New Day gets another win by heel shenanigans. Xavier Woods holding on to the leg of Tyson Kidd, preventing it from kicking out. And a little surprised. I mean, I honestly thought we were going to get the rematch on this show tonight, but don't worry, folks. We're going to get the rematch soon enough. We're not getting it tonight. However, we are going to get it this Thursday night on SmackDown. The New Day will defend the WWE Tag Team Championship against Tyson Kidd and Cesaro in that Extreme Rules return match. So, rematch clause invoked, and now we move on to what I'm hopeful will be a much better match Thursday night on SmackDown. Although we won't have to wait long to find out who won, because remember, those tapings go down tomorrow night. So right around this time tomorrow night, we'll probably have a better idea of how that stands. So with that said, it's half to 1 star for me. Like I said, I know I'm being generous. I know Bo's probably going to piss all over, and I wouldn't blame him. So, but I thought there was some decent action, halfway decent action, even though it was way too short for my liking. So half to 1 star. It is, however, one of the worst fights of the night for sure. So with that said, Michael Bullock, I know you're ready to piss all over this thing, and you have every right to do so. So go ahead and have at it.
Yeah, abs- I know you said after 1 star, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this was an absolute dud and definitely one of the worst fights of the night. Really wasn't really wasn't feeling this at all. I mean, I could basically give two craps about this match. I mean, it was basically over just like that. I mean, if you missed, you blinked it. I mean, you missed. I mean, if you missed it, you were probably blinking. You blinked. So yeah. And of course, we had a little shenanigan finish as well. That also took away from it. So yeah, and like you said, now it looks like we're gonna get the rematch on SmackDown. So we'll find out when we get the spoilers. So absolute dud, one of the worst fights of the night. I'm not gonna get into any more on this nonsense. So Florio, let's move on.
Unfortunately, the luck of the draw is going to bite you here, Michael Bullock, as we have another dud enhancement match coming up. It was Ryback. It was Ryback time. Me.
Me
Oh,
more,
come on.
me more,
Come on.
me
More.
more,
Come on.
me more.
More. Done.
Done. Finished him.
And indeed, it was done. It was done in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. That's how fast it took. 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Ryback over Bo Dallas. So, Michael Bullock, you know what to do.
No, 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 no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no,
Oh,
no.
hell
Get
no.
the oh hell freaking no, and get the you know one out with that stuff. Uh,
Oh, my
absolute
brother. Testify.
yeah, definitely. Absolute dud. Another one of the worst fights of the night. I mean, it was over just like that. Ryback basically just squashed Bo Dallas here. This was, ugh, this was just horrible. This was absolutely horrific. Um, not gonna get into any more of this nonsense. So, but wait, we actually had a little something that happened afterwards. The lights basically go out after the match was over. It comes back on, and who's right there? Bray Wyatt. He basically hits Sister Abigail on Ryback, and yeah, I mean, it looks like it's gonna be we're gonna get ourselves a feud with Bray Wyatt and Ryback, and I think this match is gonna happen at Payback. So, match was a dud, but I think what happened at the end was far better than the match itself. So, match was a dud. Watch out for Bray Wyatt versus Ryback at Payback. Florio, it's yours.
I agree. Absolute dud. Another one of the worst fights of the night. Another dud enhancement match. But here's the thing. Michael Bullock makes a great point. Bray Wyatt and Ryback clearly on a collision course for Payback. And I told Fletcher this when I talked to him earlier. I could get with this. Finally, a fresh feud. I mean, I have never recalled seeing Bray Wyatt and Ryback in a singles match before. So yeah, I can definitely get with this. I mean, I think this has potential to be, a solid feud. If I'm being honest, and I do agree with you, Michael Bullock. I think we're going to get it at Payback. That's how I feel. So, oh yeah, it's not the first. This is not going to be the first time tonight where something after the match ends up being better than the actual match itself. There's going to be something else on top of that. So an absolute another dud enhancement fight. Another one of the worst fights of the night. So yeah, we're done. We're finished with that nonsense. So with that said, let's move on. Um, well, we were supposed to have another John Cena United States Championship Open Challenge, and it was going to be, oh, God forbid, Heath Slater. Ugh, oh, yeah. That's going to put some butts in the seats and some eyes on the screens. Yeah, right. Um, but Heath Slater came out, and then, well, he never got the chance to face John Cena because Rusev took care of him. Last week, you remember Randy Orton RKO'd him through a table in catering, and then Rusev, just basically beats the piss out of him. So, but before that, John Cena cut his usual promo, which I thought was really good, and then out came Rusev and Lana, and well, just like we saw last night, we basically saw, Mark Miro and Sable 2.0. You know, Lana, being like the Sable, hooting, playing to the crowd in Green Bay, and Rusev channeling his inner Mark Miro, telling him, no, 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 not this nonsense again. You get out. My time now. You get out. And of course, that pissed off the fans in Green Bay. But what else is new? So, to me, this was the segment of the night. I mean, a great, great promo by John Cena. Putting over the match, the I Quit match coming up at the Payback. He says it's the final event, and yeah, it does make sense to have this as the blow off. Although you really could have had the blow off last night, but one last match. I Quit rules. And Cena says if I lose, then I don't deserve a rematch because I would have. If I say I quit, I'm gonna be letting down not only the WWE Universe and the United States of America, but I will also have disgraced the United States Heavyweight Championship belt that has been held by countless legends and Hall of Famers, from the first champion Harley Race all the way up now to John Cena. So, and you already know the legends and Hall of Famers that have held that title. I don't need to rehash that. You already know that from past shows. But nonetheless, Cena was great. Rusev is great. I'm definitely loving the. Oh wow. Okay. Lost Michael Bullock. Hopefully we'll get him back. Okay, there he is. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get more with this. I'm loving this new dynamic with Rusev and Lana. I mean, like I said, it brings back flashbacks of Marvelous Mark Miro and Sable back in the Attitude Era. Even though, if I'm being quite honest with you, you're this here first. I think Lana's on her way to becoming quite possibly the next Stacy Keibler, if I'm being honest. Because remember, you see the way Lana dresses. That's exactly how Stacy Keibler. That's how she used to dress. That's part of her Miss Hancock gimmick in WCW. That's exactly how she used to dress. Only difference is, Keibler had her hair down, Lana has her hair up. But eventually, I do see Lana and Rusev eventually splitting up, and I do think Lana could become on her way to becoming one of the all-time sexiest divas of all time. Like a Stacy Keibler, like a Tori Wilson, like a Trish Stratus, and I could even go as far back as Sunny, for God's sakes, the original diva. And oh boy, I can't wait to see that dynamic go down. But loving that with Rusev and Lana, the Miro and Sable tendencies there. I like that. And Rusev cut a great promo in heel. I love how he did that. So both men came off really good, and that's why I gotta consider this the segment of the night and one of the few bright spots on what ended up being another so-so edition of Monday Night Raw. So that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this whole scene with Cena and Rusev and Mr. Slater, if you will.
Yeah, like you said, John Cena cut a promo and talking about what happened at Extreme Rules with Rusev and how he survived it, and then it was time for another John Cena U.S. Open challenge, and and Heath Slater comes out. I'm like, oh no, not Heath Slater, not the most greenest grass wrestler on the card. And all I can say is I'm glad Rusev came out because I don't think anybody wanted to see Cena and Heath Slater. I mean, Cena probably would have crushed him. Then Lana comes out and says, no, 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 I'm not letting you steal my spotlight. You go to the back. And excuse me. Basically says that all these people are quitters. They quit their dreams a long time ago. They've given up, and that at Payback, you will be like all of these stupid Americans. They're not going to be saying God bless America. They will be saying I quit. And then of course you had the flag falling over, and so we know this is going to be an I quit match between these two. So I thought this was another good segment here. So with that being said, Florio, let's move on to the next match, which is another King of the Ring quarterfinal match.
It was indeed, and it was Stardust one-on-one with R-Truth winner of the match in 3 minutes and 45 seconds, it was R-Truth. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this?
Again, another too short for my liking match here. I mean, I thought there was some alright action during the short amount of time, so I'm gonna say maybe I'm gonna say maybe 1 star for the effort. Really wasn't all that great. So yeah, so R-Truth gets the win here, and he now moves on to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. So not gonna get into any further details. So 1 star for the effort. Florio, it's yours.
I'm actually going to give this 1.5 stars because, I thought, there was some alright action. I do agree with you on that. Yeah, the match was shorter than I liked, and honestly, I could have really done without these two guys, but then again, they don't have that deep of a roster, because a lot of guys are out with injuries, Daniel Bryan and, other things. I mean, I honestly wish we could have put Ryback and Bray Wyatt in this situation. I mean, why couldn't we have had these two in the King of the Ring tournament instead of a couple of guys who are really, well, R-Truth is really more on that dud enhancement group, and Stardust is in that lower mid card, and the others, I mean, with the exception of these two, the other 6 guys they selected and they handpicked for the tournament and moved them around. I mean, I don't have a problem with the other 6, but these two I kind of do. It doesn't really it doesn't really speak sexy. It doesn't really look all that attractive, to be honest with you. But it was an okay fight, nothing to really write home about. So I'm gonna give it 1.5 stars for the effort, though. I thought it was all right. So R-Truth getting the win. So one semifinal is set. Bad News Barrett versus R-Truth tomorrow night. That will be on the WWE Network, 8 Eastern. So give that a whirl, if you will. We'll all definitely be tuning in, no question about it. So yeah. Okay. Moving on. Oh yeah, it gets better, folks. Unfortunately, the luck of the draw bites me in the ass one more time. It's Adam Rose versus Fandango. Winner of the match in 1 minute and 45 seconds. It was Adam Rose.
Oh yeah, don't envy you, Florio.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, not been a good night to say the very least, with all the audio difficulties that I had with Fletcher earlier. But yeah, who came up? Who booked this match? To be honest, oh, I know who it was. Mr. McMagma booked this fight. Come on, Bullock. You know this is McMagma shenanigans, right? You knew that. So
Yep, it was Mr. McMagma.
hmm he was the one clearly behind the booking of this match. You asked the age-old question, who booked this crap? Well, that's the one who did it. This was an absolute dud. This was the worst fight of the night for my taste. I mean, nobody really gives two craps about this. Yeah, the match was a mess. However, remember when I said there was going to be another instance of how a post-match was going to be better than the match itself? Oh, ho, 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 ho. In the immortal words of Booker T, oh, shucky ducky, quack, quack.
Oh, we wish Fletcher was here for this.
I wish he was too, because we all know how much Fletcher loves this baby girl, Rosa Mendez. And, well, we have a new coupling. We saw a new coupling last week in the form of The Miz and Summer Rae. Well, lucky Adam Rose, because Adam Rose is now going to have Rosa Mendez on his arm. And, well, what happened afterwards? Ooh. I know what Adam Rose is probably thinking right now. You know what? This is the best night I've had since coming to the WWE. Yeah. He's like, I mean, yeah, my character might be a lemon nowadays, but still, oh, I had a bloody good time tonight. And why not? When you got Rosa Mendez all over you like she was, it almost brought back flashbacks of friggin' Edge and Lita when they had their live sex celebration on Monday Night Raw the night after New Year's Revolution in 2006 when Edge won the title for the first time. We all remember that. And I know what old Vinnie Mac was thinking. That's not PG. Well, that certainly was not PG. The little makeout session with Adam Rose and Rosa Mendes. So match was a dud. It was definitely another one of the worst fights of the night, if not the worst fight of the night. But what happened afterwards? Woo! Shucky ducky quack quack. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, match was a dud. Really didn't give two craps about this fight. But yeah, we get a surprise appearance from Rosa Mendes, and well, she ends up distracting Fandango, and yeah, and then after the match, she basically is in the ring with Adam Rose. She's like, "Oh, I can't, Fandango, I can't believe you chose them, which is the people, over her." And then and she's like, "Oh, Fandango, you don't deserve to dance to that music, and I found someone who treats her like the sweet flower that she is." And then they end up having a little bit of a makeout session, and all I can say about that, especially Rosa Mendes, as Booker T would say, "Oh, shucky ducky, quack, quack, quack." Uh, yeah, I mean, in the final, Michael Fletcher, he probably wishes that was him making out with Rosa Mendes and not Adam Rose. I know he probably would kill me for saying that, but he's not here, so. But knowing him, he probably would be grinning about that anyway. So match was a dud. The ending was much better. So with that being said, Florio, let's move on to the next segment, or next fight, which I will be talking about.
And it was time for hashtag Give Divas a Chance. It was. Are you ready for some hot Divas action? Well, here you go. It was Brie Bella, accompanied by Divas champion and sister Nikki Bella, going up against Naomi. Winner of the match in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It was Naomi. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this Diva fight?
Unfortunately, we're back to the typical ho hum diva fight. I'm gonna say I mean, but there was some alright action. I'll probably say about maybe 1 to 1.25 stars, but all in all, I mean, it was short for my liking, and I mean, some of the Divas matches lately, I mean, they were good, but this one here, not too much for my taste. So yeah, so 1 to maybe 1.25 stars, but unfortunately, it was a typical ho hum diva fight. So Florio, it's yours.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. 1 to 1.25 stars for the effort here. There was some all right action, but way too short for the liking. I mean, it's Monday Night Raw for God's sakes. It's not pay-per-view like it was last night. And Naomi gets the win back. I'm not at all surprised by that. I fully expect there to be another Nikki Bella and Naomi Diva title fight in the coming weeks, if not Payback. And then at that particular, whenever they meet again, and I know they will, hopefully that's when Naomi finally goes over. Naomi finally wins the Divas title, and then we can move on to that highly anticipated Naomi and Paige feud for the Divas title, which could be some major awesomeness, if I do say so myself. So, yeah, another one of the worst fights of the night. 1 to 1.25 stars for the effort. So, yeah, really nothing left to say about that. We're just gonna move on to our next matchup, which was another King of the Ring tournament matchup. It was the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose, one-on-one with Sheamus. Winner of the match in 12 minutes and 40 seconds via disqualification. And moving on to the semifinals, it is Sheamus. So I'll start it off. Now this is where the show started to get better here. It's one of the fights of the night. I don't think this was the fight of the night necessarily. I am going to give it between 3 and 3.25 stars, although maybe I'm leaning more towards a solid 3 stars for the effort. I mean, this was, a very good match. Um, they worked well together, and some good near falls down the stretch, and then of course disqualification because Dolph Ziggler showed up and basically went to town on Sheamus, basically for costing him the match earlier in the night against Barrett. And, well, Ziggler was just a little too overzealous as it cost Dean Ambrose a chance to move on. Dean Ambrose disqualified due to outside interference on his behalf since Ziggler attacked Sheamus. So a little bit of a cop out finish, but all in all, it made sense because we all know Ziggler and Sheamus are on a collision course for another showdown at Payback. You can that's basically written in the stars right there. So yeah. But nonetheless, though, this is one of the fights of the night. I'm going to give it a solid 3 stars for the effort. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on Sheamus and Ambrose?
Yes, this was definitely one of the top fights of the night. I do agree. This was a solid 3-star fight. I mean, this was a really good match here. I mean, some good back and forth, some near falls, and yeah, unfortunately, the ending was a little overbooked with Dolph Ziggler basically coming in and attacking Dolph Ziggler attacking Sheamus after of course what happened last night when he got embarrassed and basically kissed Sheamus's arse, and yeah, he chases Sheamus through the crowd, and yeah, so yeah, because of that, Sheamus now moves on to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. So yeah, so really got nothing else to say except Florio. Let's move on to which is another segment.
Yes, it is another segment. Damian Sandow. Yes, he's back to being Damian Sandow now. He cuts a promo. It was interrupted by Curtis Axel. Yeah, okay. Michael Bullock, your thoughts? Or am I leading off on this?
Um, I actually lead off on it because you led off on the
On the King of the Ring fight, right? Okay, your thoughts
yeah
on this?
yeah. All I can say it's good to see good to finally have Damian Sandow back. I mean, he's been going through all those gimmicks, especially the latest one with Damian Mizdow, but yeah, he basically is back to saying, "I beg your indulgence for one moment." And he says, three years ago, I came out with a blue bathrobe and the idea that he was going to enlighten everyone. And then he says, you know what, that wasn't entertaining enough, so yeah, so basically, he's, of course, talking about all the, when he had Bret the Hitman Sanard, the Magneto thing, and then as LeBron James and dressed up as Mr. McMahon, of course, also being known as Damian Mizdow, and he says, oh, Mizdow caused him to lose a lot of respect with his peers, but he gained the respect of the WWE Universe, and that connection that we have is the most valuable thing a WWE superstar that he could ever have. And without us, he wouldn't be in the WWE right now. And the crowd basically starts saying, thank you, Sandow, and then he says his famous line from what he says before, you're welcome. And then, Curtis Axel comes out with, yep, Axelmania running wild. Yeah, right. And then they have a little back and forth, and then he beats him down, and he brings back the elbow of disdain on him. So yeah, I mean, Damian Sandow was good on the mic, but I really could have gone without Curtis Axel here. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say this was a meh segment. The only reason why I'm saying it is because of Curtis Axel. I mean, Damian Sandow was fine, but Curtis Axel could have done without. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, 100% agree with everything you just said there, Bullock. Damian Sandow, fine. Cut a fine promo there. A fine babyface promo. I thought he was fine here, but Once Axel went out there, well, that's when it went downhill. It turned into more of a campy comedy segment than anything else. Um, it was basic. I mean, that's basically the inner child of Mr. McMagma coming out. The inner 6-year-old in him. Because obviously him and probably some of the creative team in the back probably thought this was funny. Well, guess what? It wasn't. It was lame duck, childish. To be quite honest, it's like a game of Shadow gone bad. That's really what it was once Axel got out there. But 50-50 segment. I mean, the Sandow promo was fine. That was good. But once Axel got out there, the mood changed and not for the better. So now I don't know. We're probably gonna get a match with these two. I don't know down the road. So yeah. So with that said, let's just move on. I'm done with that nonsense. I just want to move on so bad, and we're gonna move on to something a lot better. We're gonna move on to the final first round match in the King of the Ring tournament. It was the man that gravity forgot, Neville, going 1-on-1 with Luke Harper, and the winner of the match in 10 minutes and 15 seconds, it was Neville. And thoughts on this? Well, I gotta say second best fight of the night. I'm gonna say Sheamus and Ambrose was the third best. I'm gonna call this the second best fight of the night. I'm gonna give this 3.25 stars because there was some very good action in this match, some great near falls down the stretch, and I'm not surprised that Neville went over because let's face it, he's becoming the next big thing in the WWE. I mean, we all saw how special he was in NXT. Not just as a tag champion, but also as the NXT heavyweight champion, which he was longer than anybody. I mean, 287 days he held that sucker. But now you're seeing why. I mean, he just continues to get better and better and better. And remember, here's a guy who, in his second match, was in the ring with Seth Rollins, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Think about that. And now he's two victories away from winning the King of the Ring. Wow. He's on the rise, folks. He is on the rise. Say what you want about WWE and their, lazy ass booking lately, considering that they've been in a creative hangover ever since the overwhelming success of WrestleMania 31 last
And
month.
of course, burying some of these NXT stars.
Yes, other NXT superstars getting buried. You're right on that, Bullock. Mainly the Ascension. But they're clearly high on Neville, and I'm very happy about that. And you heard it here first. I think Neville's going to win the King of the Ring. I really do. Because remember, the King of the Ring, you all remember what the purpose of the King of the Ring tournament was back in the day, to elevate that up-and-coming worker to the next level. And you look at all the winners. I mean, they used to have untelevised King of the Ring tournaments back in the old days. I mean, you thought the one in 1993 was the very first one. I know Bullock thought that. Even I thought that. But upon further review, no. They actually used to do King of the Ring tournaments back in the day. They actually did these back in the day, which is hard to believe. But they actually started this thing in 1985 at the old Foxborough Stadium. The old Foxborough Stadium hosted this in one night, July the 8th of 85. And who was the winner of that very first King of the Ring tournament? WWE Hall of Famer, the magnificent Don Muraco. And then they did it again in 1986, same place, Foxborough Stadium. Harley Race. Harley Race went on to win that tournament. 1987, right here in Providence at the Dunk, September the 4th of 87. Who won that? Macho Man Randy Savage, WWE Hall of Famer, and the late great. They did it again 1988, October the 16th. Who went on to win that? Another WWE Hall of Famer, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. 1989, Civic Center. Who went on to win that? Another WWE Hall of Famer, Arriba, Tito Santana. They didn't do one in 1990. It came back in 1991, again here in Providence, September the 7th, and it was Bret the Hitman Hart, my boy, WWE Hall of Famer, who went on to win that King of the Ring. And then and then of course we all remember 1993. That's when the whole thing started, and Bret Hart would win that again in '93, and then Brother Owen in '94, King Mabel in '95, Stone Cold in '96, Triple H in '97, Ken Shamrock in '98, Badass Billy Gunn in '99, Kurt Angle in the year 2000, Edge, WWE Hall of Famer in 2001, Brock Lesnar 2002, WWE Hall of Famer Booker T, King Booker in 2006, William Regal in 2008, and then of course the last one, of course, as we all know, was Sheamus in 2010. So there you go. Um, that's the history of the King of the Ring tournament right there. And you listen to all those names that I just mentioned, all those legends and Hall of Famers that went on to win it. I mean, Morocco, you know what he did, former Intercontinental Champion. Harley Race, 7-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and the first ever United States Champion. Randy Macho Man Savage, that speaks for itself. The WWE Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, the WCW Championship. $1 Million Man Teddy DiBiase, a tag team champion. Tito Santana, tag team and Intercontinental Champion. Bret the Hitman Hart, my all-time favorite. All the championships he won. Owen, before his untimely passing. You saw his career. But not everybody was fortunate enough to have a major career after winning King of the Ring. King Mabel didn't really amount to anything. Stone Cold, we know, did. Oh, Stone Cold sure did. He won almost every championship there is. Same can be said for Triple H. You know his story. Ken Shamrock had a halfway decent career. Same can be said for Badass Billy Gunn. Kurt Angle, well, you know his story. Not just in the WWE, but also in TNA. Don't forget, as of right now, he is the current TNA heavyweight champion. Indeed, he is. Defeating Bobby Lashley in that unbelievable match last month. If you haven't seen that, I suggest you do, because Michael Bullock, if you love technical wrestling as much as I do and you say you do, you check out that match, because that was a damn good match with Kurt Angle and Bobby Lashley, former mainstay in the WWE, as everybody remembers. Edge. Oh, we know what Edge did. Went on to win damn near everything. Hall of Famer. Brock Lesnar. Say what you want about him. You know what he did. Booker T. Hall of Famer. Numerous titles. Unfortunately, William Regal, while Regal had a solid career, halfway decent, nothing really happened. And then Sheamus, well, you know his story. So remember, Sheamus is the defending King of the Ring tournament winner. I don't think he's going to win it. I think he's going to lose to Neville. I think Dolph Ziggler is going to screw him. I really do. And then I think Bad News Barrett's going to go over R-Truth. That's going to set up a Barrett-Neville final. And I think Neville's going to win the King of the Ring. And with that, Neville's going to be on his way to bigger and better things. Because as one of the great announcers in WWE history, Kevin Kelly once said, if you win the King of the Ring tournament, when you win the King of the Ring tournament, you become an immediate player. And indeed you do. And I think Neville, when he wins it tomorrow night, which I think he will become an immediate player. You heard it here first. 3.25 stars, second best fight of the night. Michael Bullock, Neville, and Luke Harper. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah. Forgot to unmute my mic. Yeah, as far as the this match goes, I mean, yeah, definitely the second best fight of the night. 3.25 stars. I do agree is the correct rating for this match. I mean, yeah, I mean, what a match here. I mean, I continue to be very impressed with Neville, and since his call up to the main roster, and he's definitely getting that push. And yeah, and of course, he hits that famous red arrow, which I'm still so impressed with. And yeah, so he gets the win. He moves on to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament, and I do agree. I think he's going to win it, and I think he's ultimately going to get that big time push. So 3.25 stars, second best fight of the night. So with that being said, Florio, it's main event time.
Indeed, it is main event time, Michael Bullock, and you're going to be leading off on that. Let me just check it out here. Okay. It was Roman Reigns and the Viper, Randy Orton, going up against Corporate Kane and WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins with J&J Security. Winners of the match in 18 minutes and 40 seconds, Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on what actually ended up being a halfway decent main event?
Yeah, yeah, this was definitely a really good main event here. Yeah, yeah, I just lost it. Yeah, this was definitely a good main event here. Some good back and forth and some good near falls and between all of them, and yeah, and then we continue to see the drama unfold with Kane and Seth Rollins, and just when yeah, and basically I mean, Seth Rollins basically nearly hits Kane on the outside, and then Kane is basically so pissed off, and he sends J&J Security over the announce table and into the booth, and then he hits the uppercut on Seth Rollins, and he tosses Seth back into the ring into a Superman punch, and then an RKO. So Orton Reigns gets the win, and then, and you know what? I'm gonna say maybe 3.25 stars is my rating. 3.25, 3.5. I'll say 3.5 is my rating. Uh, yeah, and then after the match, Kane grabs the mic and says it's time to find out who the WWE voted for the match at Payback. And the winner of that, it's going to be a triple threat match. Then of course, yep, at Payback it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and then he ends it with an emphatic. Roman Reigns ends with an emphatic spear to Seth Rollins. So, yep, it's going to be a triple threat WWE World Heavyweight Title match. So we're going to have to wait and see how that match goes. So, but either way, fight of the night, 3.5 stars. Florio, it's yours.
Yep, I do agree with you once again. This was the fight of the night. 3.5 stars. I mean, one of the better main events we've had in a while. I mean, not as much authority shenanigans as we thought they were going to be, but it does make sense from a booking standpoint for Orton and Reigns to go over here. Definitely makes sense on that end, and especially after the all those authority shenanigans we saw last night. And if you missed Michael Fletcher's epic rant from last night, ooh, you may want to go to his channel, BraceFan95, and check out our recap of Extreme Rules from last night. I mean, I still can't get over how animated he was about that, but oh boy, that was unbelievable. But nonetheless, no need for a rant here. This was a very good main event, like I said. Some great near falls, great action, a little bit of some Shakespearean drama because of the Kane and Rollins situation. You know, Kane losing it and then, you know, throwing Rollins to the wolves. A Superman punch by Roman Reigns, and then an RKO by Randy Orton, and that was all she wrote. So, and now, no big surprise. We knew the Payback main event was going to be a three-way. We knew that was going to happen. I mean, 78% of the vote went in favor of the three-way. So, yeah, very good way to conclude what was yet another so-so edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. So, I'm going to start it off when it comes to our overall review. I'm going to say between maybe 5.5 to 6 out of 10 for the show tonight because I thought the King of the Ring matches, three of those King of the Ring matches were really good. The other one, not so much, but it was okay for what it was. But you know, two really good King of the Ring matches, one solid, two great, one solid, and one on the rather meh side of things. And then you had a couple of good segments, and then throw in a really good main event. Main event fight of the night, no question about that. Second best fight I would have to say was Neville and Harper. And then rounding out top three would be Sheamus and Ambrose. Fourth best fight would have to be Barrett and Ziggler. And maybe the fifth best fight would probably have to be the Stardust and R-Truth fight. Other than that, the dud enhancement fights were, in full force again. A couple of good segments. The Cena Rusev segment was the segment of the night. The opening segment, second best segment of the night, and then the other segment with Sandow and Axel, that was a 50-50 segment. Sandow was fine, but once Axel got out there, that was train wreck waiting to happen. So so with this, I'm going to give it between 5.5 to 6 out of 10. That's the best I can do. It's clear that WWE Creative is still in a hangover. Like I said, coming off that unbelievable and overwhelming success of WrestleMania, which we all thought was going to suck, but ended up being a hell of a lot better than we initially thought, considering the piss poor build that thing had. But now we're on to the big King of the Ring special tomorrow night on the network. Bad News Barrett versus R-Truth. Neville versus Sheamus, and then those two winners meet in the final. That's at 8 o'clock tomorrow night on the WWE Network. And then, of course, don't forget the SmackDown spoilers on top of that. So that's pretty much all I can say on that. So 5.5 to 6 out of 10 for this show tonight. So Michael Bullock, your overall thoughts on this Raw tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 5.5 to 6 out of 10. I mean, yeah, you had some good matches but also we had a mixture of some dud enhancement matches. So yeah, you pretty much touched on what everything was, and yep, you got the big King of the Ring semifinals and finals. That's going to be live tomorrow night on the WWE Network. Definitely really looking forward to that. So yeah, really got nothing else to say except let's put a bow on this night, Florio.
Yeah, just had to unmute the mic there. So yeah. So that's going to definitely put the ball on this edition of the Wrestling Forum, this late edition of the Wrestling Forum. And of course, we do apologize for any inconveniences. Fletcher and I tried to do the Bulls Corner earlier. It didn't really work out. But a little mini variation of the Bulls Corner here. Very disappointed with the outcome tonight. I was really hoping Chicago would have slammed the door tonight, but that didn't happen. They lose 94-88 to Milwaukee. That goes back to Milwaukee for a Game 6 on Thursday night. So, yeah, fingers crossed that Chicago can get it done there. But I got this weird feeling that thing's going back to Chicago for a Game 7, which would be on Saturday. So I do apologize for Fletcher and I tried to do that tonight, but just a lot of audio glitches on our end. Don't get how that could be happening, but it is what it is. But at least we got to do this here tonight, the Wrestling Forum. That's the staple of the Monday night. So with that said, we're gonna get into our shout outs real quick. Michael Bullock, let's oh no, I think you let off on the main event, correct? So
Yeah, I did. So you lead off on the shout outs.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'll call it shout outs and future content. Special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports as ridiculously over as it is. We appreciate it as always. Best fans in the world. Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson. When it comes to our super fans, Dee and Kevin Woodson in the family. First family of our show, everybody knows that. Other shout outs include Matt Ward, who I know is a very happy man because of the Chicago Blackhawks moving on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They took care of the Nashville Predators on Saturday night in a very good game with Shakespearean drama all around. I know he's probably just as angry and PO'd as myself and Fletcher are at the unfortunate tanking right now by the Chicago Bulls. I cannot believe what's going on in that series. A series that really should have been over already is not. And hopefully Thursday night it will be. That's Fletcher's birthday, so hopefully the Bulls will give him a birthday present in the form of a series clincher in Milwaukee. But we'll see what happens. Of course, of course Matt Ward, Jason Nixonbaugh, of course Danny Luttrell from the UK. Of course, our hardcore pipe bomb Derek Ferrera going to be with us tonight because of some commitments on his end. Michael Fletcher, work commitments, and of course we had those glitches during our version of the Bulls Corner. So, we do apologize for that. And of course, Megan Silva and Kaiser Butler, along with the rest of along with our other crewmates, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier. Eric Carrier worked security. I guess he worked security at the dunk at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, and he got to meet Raymond Bork. Yes, he did. Raymond Bork, I guess, was at the P. Bruins game yesterday. I guess the Hartford Wolfpack, and I guess Raymond Bork was there, and Eric Carrier got to meet him. So what an honor that was, to say the very least. So a major shout out to Eric Carrier, lucky man, to get to meet him. And of course, Jimmy, of course, Rob Parsons, Bob Raderson, and don't forget our special guest and our special friend Jimmy Alden. I'll have more on him in just a moment. So and yeah, and I'm gonna save the rest of my shout outs for Friday night. So let me set the table real quick for future content. Of course, you know, the next time you'll see us will most likely be Thursday night with the next installment of the Bulls Corner, Game 6 for the Chicago Bulls and the Milwaukee Bucks at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee on Fletcher's birthday. We'll have to, hammer out the details as to how we're going to do that. Of course, let's see. Still not sure of when the next Ranger Roundup is going to be. It depends on when their series with the Washington Capitals is going to start. And yes, I did say it. Unfortunately, it's going to be the Washington Capitals. I am scared to freaking death because this team is scary good. And I know I'm the one who's keeping the faith and all that, but we'll just have to wait and see how that goes down. But initially, I'm not really all that confident with that. So yeah. But nonetheless, we're gonna have the Ranger Roundup. As soon as we have all the details on that, we'll be ready for the next installment of that. When the Rangers series with the Washington Capitals start, my guess is it'll be. Let's see. I'm thinking it could be. I don't know if it's Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. I don't know. It's gonna be one of those nights. We're gonna have to look into that, but that's the Ranger Roundup. We don't know when that will be, but keep your eyes peeled for that. We do know Thursday there will be a Bulls Corner as we recap Game 6 of the Bulls-Bucks series. And then, of course, don't forget, Friday night, the biggest Strictly Sports show in the over 4-year history of the show. Oh, boy. Myself, and it's going to be a full house, literally. Myself, Michael Bullock, Michael Fletcher, Derek Ferrera, and our special guest panelist for the evening, Jimmy Alden, will be joining us. As we're only going to get into one thing, folks. The mega fight of the century. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. This Saturday night. My God, I cannot believe it's already here. This Saturday night, MGM Grand in Las Vegas. We're going to break down every nook and cranny of that fight. You better believe that. 5 of us will be here. So yeah. So with that said, that's gonna do it for me. So till at the very earliest Thursday night, if not sooner, depending on when the Ranger Roundup is. You've been watching this edition of the Wrestling Forum right here on my channel. Well, it is still to be determined. So as soon as we have that, we'll let you know when the Ranger Roundup is. But it'll probably be at least Thursday for the Bulls Corner, and then the big sports show on Friday night with Jimmy Alden joining us. So until then, ridiculously over Anthony Floyo for the Phenom Michael Bullock saying, the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, Fortune Force style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody, and until at least Thursday night at the earliest for the Bulls Corner. You've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on my channel, It's Zone 25. So bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Michael Bullock, take us home, brother.
Will do, Florio. Of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it is the Wrestling Forum or Strictly Sports. It doesn't matter. We really appreciate it. We thank you so very much for listening to us here tonight. So, yeah, of course, shout outs to our super fans, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, and Jason Hicksonball. Of course, shout outs to our friends from our high school days, of course, Al Britterson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, Yeah, and of course, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, and the First Lady of Strictly Sports, Kaisa Butler. Of course, also shout out to the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Derek Ferreira, who unfortunately couldn't be with us. Saying goes to for Michael Fletcher, who a shout out to him as well. Couldn't be with us because of work commitments. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for me. I'll save the rest of my shout outs Friday night on our big Strictly Sports show. It's until Friday night, 10:30 for our biggest Strictly Sports show ever. Getting you ready for the biggest fight of the year, the biggest fight of all time. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, so until then, this is the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, Mike Bullock, for Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio, and the President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, of course, saying thank you all so much for listening to us, and of course, you all know the routine. Thumbs up, talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Have a great rest of the week, everybody, and until Friday night for our biggest Strictly Sports show yet. You've been listening to the Wrestling Forum here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. Bye for now, my friends. God bless, and be good to each other.